Can we just proclaim Netflix Original Day an international holiday in our binge watchers community? Can we just do that now? Thank you. Happy holidays. Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about the Netflix original Narcos. So, as tradition dictates, I binge watched all 10 episodes of Narcos the day it came out, and now I'm here to talk about it. Narcos tells the story of Pablo Escobar and the Medellin Cartel on the one hand, and the story of the two DEA agents who went after him on the other. But as the show promised, it does go far beyond the personal stories of these characters and tells us a lot about the political history of Colombia, which is fascinating and kind of insane. Right off the bat, the show tells you that certain aspects of the story have been changed in certain ways for dramatization, and generally it goes like this. The major events that take place really did happen in real life, and the drama between the characters in between, well, that's the show. The style of storytelling that they went with is very documentary style. You get a lot of archived footage, and the show is very heavily narrated by Steve Murphy's character. But not narrating it like an internal monologue, no, he's actually telling you a story, introducing characters as they show up on the screen, like he's watching the show with you. I thought the storytelling was very effective because there is a lot you need to know. It was a bit much at times. There were times where I just wanted the story to play out by itself, but I get why this type of narration was sort of required to get so much information across, but it does hurt character development, and it does make it harder for you to get attached to these characters or actually care about them. The majority of the show is in Spanish, so unless you speak the language, you're gonna be reading a lot of subtitles, and there's no checking your phone while just listening to the dialogue. No, you have to really pay attention. Personally, I like it when a show forces me to be involved. And I'll take the language in which the story was meant to be told over English with an accent any day. There is a discussion to be had here, though. One of you actually brought this up on Twitter. Does focusing on the subtitles distract you from the actual performance? For me, it really didn't, because I'm very much used to reading subtitles, but how do you feel about it? So speaking about the performances, first and foremost, Wagner Mora, I hope I'm not butchering his name, the guy who plays Pablo Escobar, is awesome. You don't have to speak Spanish in order to see how nuanced his performance is. I thought that Steve Murphy's character was effective. I didn't find him overly interesting. I do wish that Pedro Pascal as Javier Peña got more focus because he was just great. Something I loved about this is that the show starts out with Pablo Escobar already an established, menacing, badass smuggler. You don't have to go through the rags to riches origin story because you've seen it a million times by now and you kind of know how it goes. The show starts out just before he gets into the cocaine business, and I thought that was very well done. This show is very much a crime drama. If that's a style you're into, which I personally am, I'd say that this is a pretty safe bet. You get your shootouts and action scenes, which are cool, but the intrigue and the crime families and the political drama and the DEA agents kind of trying to figure out how to get the bad guys, that is what I felt was the good stuff. And of course it has the added value that if you're not familiar with the story, you're gonna Wikipedia some of this and go like, oh shit, this actually happened. That's messed up. Since you can just go online and read about what happened, this show doesn't really focus on twists and turns. It's not really edge of your seat kind of stuff. Well, sometimes it is, but it is super interesting though. As soon as I finished watching the show, I pretty much read everything I could about some of this stuff. I'm not a huge fan of how the season ended. It wasn't bad or anything. It was just a style of endings that I don't really like, but in that style of endings, it was pretty good. I'm tiptoeing around it so I won't spoil anything. Forget it. Bottom line, should you watch it? I would say that this is another win for Netflix originals. It's a crime drama with a very straightforward style of storytelling that gives you one hell of a history lesson. Going through some of the early reviews on Netflix, most of the negative reviews complain either about having to read subtitles for most of the show or the use of a narrator being too heavy, which I kind of agree with, but I didn't really feel it was that bad. And a lot of native Spanish speakers complaining about accents, saying that they don't sound true to where the show takes place. Obviously, I couldn't tell the difference, but I can get how that can be distracting. Like most Netflix originals, this is meant to be binged. It's a 10-hour story. Well, more like 8 hours because episodes are anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour. Anyway, I would say just clear a weekend. What about you? Do you feel that subtitles distract you from the actual show? If you're a native Spanish speaker, did the accents bother you at all? Or if you watch the show, generally, what do you think about it? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. And if you're finding binge watchers for the first time, welcome! I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community where we're talking about TV every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with reviews and opinions and news and sketches and all kinds of great stuff, all for you fellow binge watchers and TV lovers. So you can go ahead and click that big subscribe button to join in on the fun, or you can check out any of the other videos on the channel. In any case, my name is Ron, keep binging, and I will see you next time.